Okay, and we are live, and we are walking around the garden and talking about a variety of different things, which is pretty cool. Okay. All right. So there's all kinds of different planting seasons that happen, and we have all kinds of different plants here that we are going to be watching grow over time, which I think is pretty cool. I like that. Okay, and we have this mysterious red vine that likes to sit here, which is interesting. And all right, now going into the spooky part of the yard, which is pretty cool. Okay. All right. So yeah, that. Hello, Jay. Welcome to the stream. And yeah, see how big this is getting. These leaves are getting even more huge. It's now they get really tall and they grow faster and faster every day. And hello, Zumi. Oh, okay, Jay. Well, Jay, in a way, it's good that you're not on your phone as much because sometimes, although these lives are productive that I do, there's a lot of things online that aren't really the best for the mind. So, yeah, hopefully, other things you've been doing have been going well for you. Hey, Tane, welcome to the stream. Yes, Sandwich, you've made contact with aliens. That is true. Salute to you, Brig. Welcome back. I got some decoded signals from the sky and it caused that. Yeah, so in nature right here, I remember there was some eyes looking at me the other night in one of these areas, but I was ready, but chat was concerned, but it was just a silly little swamp rat. I mean, a swamp puppy. It was not what I thought it may have been. Nothing too menacing. Yeah, you see, it was Sandwich. That's exactly who it was. That's true. Oh, Jay, that is so awesome that you tried daikon. It is delish. It is yummy. Yeah, it definitely something that I like to grow, as you already know that, and I'm glad others are trying it as well. It's a delicacy, and it was a very good source of food for ancient warriors. All right. So Zumi says between 2030 and 2038, the universe will reset. Oh, okay, Zumi. I definitely something that I've been researching is about the Great Reset. That's something I've been hearing about for a couple of years, and it's nice to see a potential date when this Great Reset may occur. Yeah, that is certainly awesome because there are so many people. Oh, now Sandwich said he will not let that happen. Scared. Sandwich is going to be the one to go through the space-time continuum to completely prevent that from happening. And when that happens, he everyone else may just be safe. So maybe Sandwich himself is an alien time traveler from another time period. So that's always a possibility. Plan is already in motion, fellas. Just sit back and enjoy. Oh, okay. Well, looks like we're gonna have to enjoy the ride then. We don't have much of a choice, and we're gonna have to not. We're not gonna be able to deal with it, and he will deal with it for us, which is pretty cool. That is true, though, Zumi. If the creator intends it to happen, his will shall be done. That is true. That is true. Now, maybe Sandwich would be an agent of the creator to give us a mercy, perhaps, possibly, if that was his will. But what do you think, Zumi, will happen? Do you have any ideas about potential things that could happen when the reset occurs? Because there's many different theories out there that people have, and I think they're all very intriguing. Now, it is true that over here, okay, it looks like my signal dropped when I went to a certain spot, so I think I might be back now. Okay, I think I might be back now. So go away from the spot for now and you just stay over here. Yeah, it seems like you crashed the stream with your sheer power. There you go. And yeah, so in chat, I think that I came back. Anyway, so hello, Tone. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it was Sans basically enlightening us, and shout the Tone. Sans, but Sans did crash the Matrix. Yeah. All right, Zoom. All right, went away again, but I'm back now. It's not the best signal at the moment, so over here might be better. Might be better. Okay, so let's see. The reset is to stop corruption. The universe, as many have died in the universe, and the Greys and reptilians. That's the reason for the reset. Okay, thank you, Zumi. Oh, and right here we have our cat Bubbles. Well, maybe Bubbles was messing with the signal. Bubbles was messing with the signal right here. All right. Schwab and his little great reset can kick rocks. Yeah, because you know who that is. Yeah, and he's definitely trying to do things like that. Oh, Earthy thinks that Bowles is an Iranian spy. Oh, scared. Yeah, we would never know if he was an Iranian spy. It would never dawn on me that it was him, so we got to watch out then. Hello, Earthy. Welcome to the stream. And Tone says, Great Reset, when it happens, we'll start all over and go back to the Western Age. Oh, yeah, the Western Age would be pretty interesting. Cast, this is, yep, we are in the Garden Live, as usual. Yeah, and the signal is better in this spot. Sometimes, like I don't know, the trees and stuff might block the signal, so over here, it's open field at the moment. So, yeah, we have this suspected spy that is chilling here. So, yeah, the when the reset happens, if it happens, some people think it's certainly going to happen. It'll cause people to be red pilled a little bit too late from when they think it's going to happen. So you have these theories where people might completely be changed into a different person. Yes, Bose is giving off internet connection. That is true, Sandwich. Zumi said when the reset happens, okay, now he is going to do some more spying over here. All right. When the reset happens, it'll make evil people go back to the source of good. Will be 5D or higher. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Now, when the okay, and I want to know as much about this as I can know about. So I think it would be good if the evil people can go back to being good. That would be something I think is very important for people to do in general. So that could be a positive thing that comes out of it. Yes, he's been called back to the mothership. That's true. Yes. I think I'll just another Y2K scare, perhaps. That could be it. That could be it. Or maybe it'll happen a longer time from now, or maybe it could happen sooner than later. There's various possibilities. So I definitely think that extraterrestrials and the aliens, there definitely needs to be a great reset because they're the influence of the Greys and the bad Greys and the reptilians are completely contaminating the world and the minds of many people. Now, the reason why this is a thing is because you could see how the world works, and through spiritual channels, they are causing the people that have the ability to influence media to go with their agenda. And I can explain that to anybody that's curious because it sounds like I'm writing the next sci-fi movie. Although I think it'd be the greatest sci-fi movie of all time because truth is stranger than fiction. But I am ready to explain to anybody. So yeah, and we got our new plant section that will come up at some point right here. And yeah, I think the people didn't expect the internet to come out because the internet really shined light on what they were doing. And after that occurred, people with independent outlets started exposing everything. And then they tried to do censorship. But yeah, they didn't expect the internet to come out for people to know the truth. Iran happened, and the U.S. wants this to happen to move America toward Iran for the Strait Hormuz. Too much there for us to get involved now. Not Great Reset. No Great Reset. Okay, so Earthy says there's no Great Reset, and that there could be a staged thing with Iran that might happen to get us more involved in a war with them. Okay. There was something that happened in Cuba with the Bay of Pigs. Although you already know about that, there's allegedly a staged attacks that were going to happen from the CIA to frame Cuba to cause a war with them, and JFK said no. So the governments have been known to stage events like attacks and stuff to cause a war to occur. I think it's happened multiple times actually. So that very well could be. We all have to be on guard. Thank you for your thanks for the info. Okay. Zumi says reptilians and Dograys have done way worse kidnapping young people, putting fear into harvesting them for food, and they cover themselves up in the human vile liquid. Yeah. So that is a good point to make about the Greys and reptilians because so many people have abductions, and there's people that came on the show before that have talked about their own experiences with the abductions and these bad dreams people will have, and it's very demonic and bizarre what these things do to people. That's why I don't think they're really good or really have our best interest at heart. Something that I think is complete facts. Hello, Steve. Welcome. And Zumi says that's how they consume humans, though, through their skin and blend humans. Yeah. You see, the thing is that the aliens they absorb things. A lot of their waste and stuff also comes out through their skin. That's why they smell weird. And Earthy says it could also be that perception that their own subconscious makes them evil through fear. in fear, there are survival instincts that kick in. And when the survival instincts kick in, people may do all kinds of things they usually would not do. Correct. They smell like sulfur. That is true. And fallen angels are known to smell like sulfur, so it's kind of like a correlation there. Right. And Zumi says, no, I mean, they kill humans to blend them up in a soup and rub their own skin in its pure evil. Oh, thank you. Oh, well, I believe it because I know that they're harvesting humans for certain reasons. And similar to Countess Bathory, she was this evil countess that took the blood of children. I mean, not children, but like young women, and she used to bathe in their blood, kind of like adrenochrome. So that shows you that even these aliens are doing the same thing because that's where it originates from. It originates from them, and these fallen spirits influenced humans to be like that too. All right, and they also don't like ammonia. I've read somewhere pee burns their skin, makes them sick. Yeah, yeah. That definitely would cause them to have a problem because of uh, their way their systems are designed, and also the spiritual elements of them too. And are you familiar with the reptilian walk-in? Oh, like the Anthony Weiner laptop. I know about the Anthony Weiner laptop. I know about that kind of stuff. Now the reptilian walk-in, I don't know if I know about. I probably know about it. I just not have heard about that terminology before. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Tone, just be on them. Yeah. Good morning, Solid Girl. Always a pleasure. And Earthy said, I've read about a man that recalled erased memories about MK Ultra program as a child and used the child clinic to hide their underground base and disguised as a regular elevator. You could never tell a difference. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And that is the whole thing with the mass brainwashing program of MK Ultra. They were able to get people to go through these things and erase their memory. They were completely erasing the memories of people and then rearranging everything for it to look like it never happened. Hey, sorry, what topic are we on? I haven't been listening because I went and grabbed some food. Jay, yeah, grab your snacks, food, or your people. If people smoke or drink whatever, just grab it all and have a enjoy the alien live. And Jay, we were talking about conspiracy theories. Yeah, we were talking about conspiracy theories, and we are hanging out, and that is what we're going on here. All right, so we're going to see this. It says, read this again. I've read about a man who recalled erased memories from MK Ultra program. The child used a child clinic to hide their underground base, disguised regular elevator. You can never tell the difference. Yes, gotcha. So this is the thing. There's in the MK Ultra, Moki and I have done, a stream about this before about MK Ultra, and when her and I did it, so MK Ultra has to do with this brainwashing program that the United States created to combat the Soviets' brainwashing program of our own people. Yeah, hello, Chad. Welcome to the stream, buddy. So that is what happened. And Disney allegedly has noise. Hello, Carlos. Allegedly was was part of the MK Ultra program, and that they were helping with this operation too. Yeah, so it is quite appalling. Zumi says the war in Iran is to stop the human trafficking. This stops the reptilians harvesting U.S. It's a big trafficking program, humans over in Iran. Okay, thank you for your take on that. And also, I've heard stories of CPs being complicit in disappearances or sexual, let's just say SA. I feel they are involved heavily too. Yeah, yeah. A lot of times silence is acceptance in so many instances. So if you have a situation where people are, we are, yes, a garden, yeah. When people are not trying to stop what's happening, they could be part of the plot. So many organizations that seem trustworthy and media outlets and other types of corporations are working along with MK Ultra. For instance, there was a dude that worked with the NSA that was a complete Satanist, and he wanted and he had a dagger from the the SS, which was part of this the German unit, and because they were trying to draw dark energy from it, because there was a part of the SS that was occultic into like occultic practices. Right? They had all kinds of different factions within the Third Reich of all kinds of different groups everywhere. It was like a whole unit, different universes in there of different groups in there. So the one of them was occultic, and that's what some of these people were trying to draw energy from. Himmler had a castle dedicated to it in Germany somewhere. So a lot of these people were in our government, and they did the psychological experience MK Ultra, and a lot of these people were doctors and scientists from the Reich that were conducting those experiments over there, and also from the United States as well. So it's kind of a spooky thing, and they used LSD, etc. to. Oh, Keegan, a good question. And okay, first of all, the reason why I'm not done the earlier live streams, like the computer lives, is because internet had what's it called? There was an outage in my area, and it just seems like because my city 20 years ago went through a horrible disaster, and this company, in my opinion, didn't exactly fix every single thing they could have fixed. So, hello, Chris. And he loves LSD. Well, yeah, there you go. So what happened, bro, was the over time it was patched up, and there was sometimes it gets spotty and has problems, and there was something that has nothing to do with 20 years ago, nothing to do with this at all, is that there was an incident that one of their stations got messed up, and it just my setup needs a little bit of direct wiring, and the service means well, but it has some issues, so I'm getting a new one to see how that goes and hook up the setup a little bit differently. That way, the computer lives, like streaming the rocket landing and stuff like that, should be smooth, and other things that I stream on a computer. Now, the reason we're doing this one that was late, I usually do another phone line that's earlier, but I got, I saw an old friend earlier I talked to, but that was like the reason I usually don't talk to him. I usually do the live stream, but I was having a schedule a little bit different this time, and that is the reason. But the reason why this stream was a little bit later was because I'm capturing the moon live. So that is the reason. You have I wanted to capture the live of the morning. So one time I went live a little bit early, like later, like this, and we kind of see the sun come up and the twilight happen. I love that. That was so cool. So that's why I'm going live later when I usually could have gone it live a little bit earlier, but that's why. So that is a very winded response to your question. Okay, thank you. So let's go back in time and see what people were talking about. Okay. So Steve says, anyone else part of the Gates or cover programs gifted and talent to and three-letter agency has controlled these programs ever since. I'm activated alumni for three agencies. Okay, thank you. What is better than crack or no? Hey, talking about okay, and we have some English American and no one built. Let's see, respectful. And anyway, so yeah, Bigfoot tracks. Okay, legend. The reason why aliens abduct us, there's a variety of different conspiracy theories I want to explain to you. So, just sit back and enjoy. So, the aliens, one of the reasons why the aliens abduct us is because let's say they're aliens from another planet. They're the scientists that are very curious about us, and they may be using our body parts or something for an experiment or extracting something or studying the human anatomy, and they abduct us and study us, and they allegedly create hybrid offspring too, and they send us back here when they're finished. Kind of like seeing us as guinea pigs or lab rats. Another reason might be if they're time travelers from a long time ago, they were trying to extract something from our genome that we have in our body that they don't have on their body anymore because the Greys are kind of evolved far beyond what we are, thousands of years in the future in space. So we had something that they were lacking. But could they just create it on their own and not need to abduct us? That would be another thing you could argue with that. But and if they're fallen angels, demons, watchers that are disguised as aliens, they are kind of like this, a fallen entities. They're doing things that God doesn't want them to do, and hybrids. The same thing. Studying humans are causing psychological messing up with people. Messing with people's minds. You know, and also for their own experiments. So, those are a variety of different reasons about what each theory set would explain why these aliens are doing that. So, mainly, mainstream narrative is that they're doing like an experiment. They're trying to see like what we are, what we are going to do. Something like that. All right. So, let's see. All right. What is the name of the highest clearance you can get? I seriously know the name of this program that hints tie what is anointed to him. Earthy says, only thing I have base is above Q clearance. Okay. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I say it all right. Yeah. I'm an alien obsessed with the sun. Yeah. So there's people that were in. There's a dude that was allegedly in the. Nothing against Mormons, but there's someone that was in the Mormon church, and his family was involved with some of these things, and there was rituals that were happening, and not that the Mormons do stuff like that, but there's a possibility. Now, his story, I believe, is true. So basically, they're doing blood sacrifices, and it was a part of an MK Ultra program. So the dude's father was part of an MK Ultra program, allegedly, and he was involved with these weird rituals and experiments and stuff. But not because of the Mormon connection necessarily, but just the way, what his father was into. Hello, Real. What if humans are just developed dogs? de-evolved dogs. You know what, Cody? I think sometimes humans act like de-evolved dogs. I think that happens at times. And what's Bro says, Tone says, oh, what if aliens are evolved humans in the future? I know there's a theory that the aliens, like that J Rod alien, which is a gray alien, that he is an evolved alien. He was evolved human being from 56,000 years from now. So that is the theory that the Greys are evolved humans from a long time from now. And let's see, blood sacrifices always freak me out too. Yeah, yeah. Do you think aliens also abduct plant matter for study too? Absolutely, Jay. I completely think they do that. I think they cows, goats, chickens. I mean, look at crop circles. They're doing something with the crops, and they're putting subliminal messages in crop circles about their planet and different coordinates and stuff. So plants too. Yeah. I mean anything. I'm sure they take a car or a brick, or they're just studying everything. So yeah, and remember, as thank you for the super chats, Zorro. I appreciate it, and you are very welcome. And it's also a pleasure. Also a pleasure. Yeah, the blood sacrifices are extremely freaky, and okay, Cody. Shout out to you. Facts. Thank you. And yeah, so the blood sacrifices, I'll explain about that. So the alleged blood sacrifices, which did happen even in pagan traditions, it happened. And also the Israelites did it too. Everybody did sacrifices. And so, oh, thank you, frog, boiling frog. Oh, thank you. Welcome to the spaceship. So, oh, thank you, Cody. Welcome to the spaceship. I appreciate the subs and likes very much. So what happened, chat, was that there's something called adrenochrome that especially young people have, and they want to absorb it as energy for themselves. It's my pleasure, boiling frog. And that is what the reason is. They want this type of energy, this demonic energy from, that's what they get. So they do the adrenochrome, which is something in the human blood, especially young people, and they feed off of it, and it keeps them young allegedly, and it keeps their energy going like a vampire. So the story of the vampire is very similar to that. So that is the reason these from these other realms, like the lizard or reptilians for certain, these fallen watchers, they're absorbing it, you know, and getting that from them. So that is the reason why that happened from the ancient times. They were influencing earthlings to do things that were not nice. Yeah, frog, definitely a boiling frog, and it is, Dracula, for instance. He was connected with them too, and Countess Bathory was another nobility person. Yeah, they're known. Some of the factions are known to do that. Yes, and let's see. When a state of fear, the adrenaline. Yes, yes, correct. Okay, Steve. See you. And Steve says, I saw a scientific magazine evolve humans in theory back to the 70s, and they took into account that a space-faring race and came up with a tall gray. You know, as I said, they could still be things from another planet, but that seems to be the case about what they are. Exactly, boiling frog. It's way that they're able to cultivate their disguise. You know, it's a way they could have their disguise. It's similar to Voldemort from Harry Potter. You know how he kept on having to have a Horcrux to keep himself alive, but eventually it all just kind of collapsed on him, and he lost all of his looks for that. You know, but in the end, he didn't even live that long. So it's kind of ironic. Exactly, using our DNA, correct. All right. Hello there, Mark. Welcome, Arg. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, shout out to Carlos. You know, I think War of the Worlds, the fictional movie, is a good concept of, what's going on with that, what those things do. You know, definitely an important concept of, the harvesting of humans. And all these things, if it's royals or the elites or these aliens, they all have a good survival instinct. And that is the key. Yeah, shout out the chat and the spaceship. Appreciate everybody. And that is the key to all this we see. The desperate cover up of aliens. They're, yes, boiling frog, correct. All of these different factors are going into play. That is why they want to, that's why they want to do it. They want the humans they're obsessed with, you know, some people that are not religious might see it as an evolutionary uh, s- achievement of the human race. Religious, which people can believe in both and be religious and believe in both. But we were created in the image of God, which I believe, all as a Christian. But I'm not denying any other kind of way we came into existence didn't necessarily happen. I'm not denying that either. But however it happened, humans are a great masterpiece, and these fallen entities know the power of the human can have, and they want the human to harvest. Like, say you have a nice garden of things to harvest. So that is one reason why they attack humans. And according to the religions, the Abrahamic religions were made in the image of God. And, even Nietzsche talked about the Ubermensch, the superhuman, the Superman. So, from all kinds of different philosophical standpoints, even if they aren't religious, the human has so much potential, and the brain is so complex. The Bible talks about Adam and Eve are given dominion over the earth, and when they did the forbidden fruit or Pandora's box or however it happened, they released they lost their birthright to the earth. They gave up the keys of earth to these things that hate us and want to harvest our organs and adrenochrome. And then God did provide a savior to save us from the destruction that we created. But anyway, that is the point: is the humans is the crown creation, or for those that may not be religious, the evolved state that at this point in time is the superior creation to these other entities. That's why the elites want to harvest what we are, harvest the human race, and also the aliens and the other ones too. Think about it. There's aliens or these creatures in these other dimensions that are able to fly and do these crazy things we can't do, are obviously obsessed with us, and the elites are obsessed with controlling us. It's just they they can't get away from us. But instead of trying to help us or guide us, they want to take advantage of the situation. So that is what we got to remember. That's why we have to be diligent and be mindful of everything that is going on, because if we fall into the trap, especially of self-destruction. You are right, Boiling Frog. That is a very good point. Is that they fear us just like a snake. I've heard that a snake is more afraid of us than we are of it. So they're afraid of us and our power. Because I'm saying, like, people have so much potential, a spiritual potential too, and resilience. Like, think about the original humans, and they had a stick and a stone, and now we have these phones that we're all streaming on, or computers or whatever. And there's been so many wars and conflicts, and it seems that we just keep on advancing, and they were just programmed to be a certain way, but we have a resilience. That's why the spirit that we made it in the image of God would make sense. People, as I said, could accept that metaphorically or literally, but yeah, it's definitely a creation that these other creatures, these other beings that are out there want us either destroyed or harvested, whatever, is something to take strength in. So remember this, is that, just as the religions teach, is to try to be good to our neighbors and our fellow humans, because we have to stick together and be united, because they want us all divided and destroyed and unhealthy and beat down. That's what they want. So you gotta be careful that we need to keep the human race together, because that's why they have these things happen, to divide us in all kinds of different ways. So that is the important thing there. What if the giants talked about in Christianity were aliens that came down to Earth? And by the way, Earth, yes, you said something. I'm not ignoring you. I'm about to get to you in a second. And Jay says, what if the giants talked about in the Christianity were aliens that came to Earth and then left without a trace? That is possible, that could be. And I believe there could be truth to that. Very good theory. Now, the narrative is that God caused the Christian God, or the God of the three different religions of Abraham. There's three different Abrahamic religions. That this God caused a great flood to happen, and He wiped them out of existence. And some, either Noah had in his DNA Nephilim DNA, or one of his daughters, or his they survived the flood somehow, or they came later. The aliens came back and put more giants here. But yes, they could be. There's probably an episode about a giant blow up thing being an alien. So that's possible, that and they left at some point. So that's a good hypothesis. Thank you. And Earthy says they want us to be fearful or aliens. Notice almost every movie portrays them as the enemy. If they wanted to hurt us, we would be gone without a say. And that is a very good thing that I've heard, and I do think that there are good aliens out there. Like, for instance, the Ebians seem like they're good. So the Book of Enoch, angels mating with humans. Of giants actually found. Yes, that is correct. So yeah, I've been seeing the different podcasts, and that if aliens want to wipe us out, they would have done it already. But they're trying to not wipe us out and have a good one. Earthlings have an experience. Like, the Ebians seem like they're pretty chill. What I think is all of the above. I think it's all true. I think there could be a species of alien that is not trying to hurt us and do not want us to be eradicated. That's probably true, but I'm not denying that there are something else out there that doesn't want us to be here. In the way that the bad aliens, we'll call them bad aliens. Yes, 100% hidden more, correct. So the aliens that are bad, you see it all around you. Why aren't the aliens, the bad ones, spiritually are influencing people to do these wars and these conflicts? And the spiritual degeneration of the human species. So there's something called Project Bluebeam, where these creatures, they're going to stage a fake alien invasion, and they're going to cause a new world government to be created to fight it, sort of like Independence Day, allegedly. Maybe 50 years from now it'll never happen. All right, just, it's alleged. And when this happens, the human race will be united under this one world government. And after that happens, the real aliens come that are not good, and that's where really all the bad stuff starts happening. So it could be a Trojan horse. Just be aware of Trojan horse with the aliens. But anyway, I do believe that there's truth to all of it. Like I think there are, the Ebians, as I said, they sound like they're pretty chill. I suppose I don't really trust them either, but they seem pretty chill. But the mainstream narrative that I usually see is that a lot of them could be demonic or fallen angels, like from the Book of Enoch, and they're not really what they say they are. But I'm not denying there are aliens on other planets, and that they may not all want to destroy us. So that's what I think is a possibility there. All right. Oh no, I know about the giants. I'm very well aware of them. Thank you. And let's see. Harry says, "Suragio Monstra. The aliens are WEF, etc." Yeah, yeah. And I've heard of. Oh, you heard of this, Mr. Briggs? Right. Oh, hello, Sonny. Over there. Yeah, the giant of Kandahar. That is true. Oh yeah. So let's talk about the giant of Kandahar. So there was I'll tell you a story. So in Afghanistan, there was this call that okay, so this is the story. So there's a unit in Afghanistan in 2002. Oh, that's hilarious, Earthy. Okay, so in 2002, there was this story of the this unit. So the unit was going out to check a cave in Kandahar, Afghanistan, 2002. So we're going up and looking for the people that are allegedly missing. They outside this cave. There's something quite peculiar. Oh no, boiling frog! I do. There's a lot of pictures of giant fossils that I do think what you saw was likely correct. There's been stories of giants throughout generations. So no, those fossils are probably real, or at least some of them. So they're going. This unit was going up to Kandahar, and they saw a couple of body parts of the U.S. Army, and they see a cave. And outside this cave steps out. This is allegedly a true story. These people see this 15-foot tall giant with red hair, and he's very buff. Right, he's very strong, and he has a spear. And they open fire, and they start, and he bro starts attacking them, and he impales Dan with a spear. And the fire lasts for about a minute or so, and eventually the thing falls. It has 2 rows of teeth and 6 fingers, 6 toes. And it was from a cave in the remote areas of Kandahar. And they took the body back to a base in Ohio for, study. Now, the Pentagon, etc., says it's not true, record of it. And maybe the records were hidden somewhere, or they're lying. So what happened at Kandahar was that they had the soldiers sign this waiver that they can never talk about what happened, but they've talked about it on different podcasts and things like that. And so that is a story of the Kandahar giant. It was these in the remote Afghanistan. There are these giants that existed from the biblical era, like the time of the Bible. They talked about these exact same things existing. So in these remote locations, they still exist. They either survived the flood somehow. They're descendants of Noah that you know went into the. They're technically descendants of Noah, but they went away from society, or the things came back later to create more of those hybrid giants. So that is the story of the giant Kandahar. There's another incident that happened. That is correct, Bob. And so that is something. Okay, did they estimate the age? That's a really good question. The age of the giant was an adult of, I know that was a really stupid answer, but I have no idea how old. They didn't There was no description about how old it was. Just an adult that could be about anywhere from 30 up to, like, maybe 50, 30, but I doubt it's really that old. I think it's probably hundreds of years old. I don't we don't the age of the giant was not known, but this took place in 2002 allegedly. So there is another story that happened in Afghanistan where there were some soldiers were monitoring some villagers with some night vision goggles, and they saw this Nephilim, this giant person with some goats hanging around, right? And this dude was like a tower, and he was hanging out with some of the villagers. So they saw them again. So a couple different times they saw them. So these things existed in biblical times, are still around today in remote mountains and places, sort of like a yeti. All right, why is nobody talking about the Greek mythology connection to UAP UFOs? Looking into it. If you get info from Facebook, you already lost. Okay, and Mark said, "Can't lose when you get 10-foot basketball player." Yeah, height of tall stature comes from those things. And hello, Aiden. I don't know, Adine. Let's call him that. The Giants did not want to live with humans. You are correct, and I think a lot of times they were like ostracized from civilization. And if they cut in half, they count the rings of a tree. Like, yeah, like a tree. Yes, yes. Oh, Jay, everyone is related to those giants. Okay, like for various percentages. People that are really, really tall are closer related to them than someone else. But yeah, anybody that has like a tall stature to them of any kind could have various percentages of Nephilim in them. And let's see, the but yeah, people that are like 15 feet tall or 10 feet tall or 8 feet tall, yeah, they have something. And I remember, oh, yeah, my friend that I talk about the alien stuff with, he told me I'm 1% Nephilim. So maybe I'm related to them very distantly too. But the thing with the giants is that their DNA existed through with humans throughout time, and on the islands of Australia and the islands of the New Zealand, there are giants that existed with the same features as the other giants. Same thing in Arizona and the Western United States. They had history of giants all over the world. There's these giants that existed a long time ago, and in this other region of the world, in South America, they were building pyramids on top of each other to try to reach a god they had that was flooding the earth to destroy giants, similar to the Great Flood from the Abrahamic religions. And my family all under 5 foot, so they related to pygmies. Oh, okay, Rob. Okay, interesting. Interesting. After the firefight, did they examine the cave? They did not examine the cave. No. Here, right? The giant of Kandahar is laying right there, and a helicopter comes down, and they pick up the thing, and they bring the soldiers back, and they retrieve the body, and they bring them back for like medic reasons. You got to remember, they were attacked by a giant monster thing, so they had to be brought. They have to be brought to like a hospital to be examined. So no, they brought the cavalry in and got them out of there. Very, very good questions, by the way. If I ever somehow meet these people on the show and they can answer the questions, but we know everything in detail about what happened allegedly, pretty much. But so you're getting accurate information about it. But yeah, they did not go and explore inside the cave. No. Why didn't they stand on each other's shoulders to reach God if they were so tall? Because they did do that. Absolutely. But what happened was they were using the pyramids as a platform to go there, and they just couldn't make it to the sky. They're partially why, and I'm sure at first they try to do the same thing you're talking about. So they use the pyramids as a platform to reach it, and also they believe they had spiritual power, but they just couldn't reach his realm, you know. But yeah, they're making every attempt. I'm sure they tried everything, but yeah, they're using it as a platform to get to him. Yeah, so that is anything to ask. Definitely very cool. Very good questions tonight. And yeah, that is the situation. The giants that were talked about in the Bible, especially like Goliath and David, they were talked about same thing. Okay, the weapon that he had made of was a wooden spear. That's what it was. And it was not a metal spear. It was made out of wood. I think about like a giant carved, staff spear like that. And Zumi says, wrong. The Great Flood was caused by email of reptilian. Okay. Now, as I said, people could have their own opinions about what caused the Great Flood, and maybe it's a combination of things. But the Great Flood that I'm referring to was started by the what I perceive as the Abrahamic God. But remember, there are people of different beliefs, but we all agree on the same thing that there was a Great Flood that happened. Right? Because we all have our different variations of what it was. You know, so people could believe as they please. We all have different cultures and different belief systems. So yeah, uh, that is a interesting. It was a pretty big flood that happened. All right, Earthy says all this talk got me wanting to practice RV. I'll come back with results before leaving work. Okay, Earthy, and thank you, buddy. You've been saying some really cool stuff tonight. I wish you all the best with that. Indeed. Yeah. Okay. Yes, it wore clothes. The clothes that it wore was made out of animal skin that looked like it was hundreds of years old, which that would allude to the age of the creature. It would look like really dirty, messed up animal skins from hundreds of years ago or thousands of years ago. Would make it more layman's terms, like hundreds of years ago. So yeah, it was this thing that had like a caveman type thing with animal skins. That's what it was wearing. Why would they call it the Abrahamic God? It's the same God since Adam. I say that because the three different Abrahamic religions all agree on the same thing. In that sense, like so, when I say the Abra, or I what I can say is the God of Abraham to be more in layman's terms. But yeah, the Abrahamic religions believe, okay, you have the three Abrahamic religions that believe a great flood happened from Noah, right? All three of them believe in Noah. But somebody that's a Hindu or a Buddhist or an atheist won't believe in that, right? Or somebody that believes in, some other thing. So the Abrahamic religions is a category that believes in this great flood that happened from the prophet Noah, right? And someone else might think it's Gilgamesh, or someone might think it's a Pandora's box, or it's a reptilian thing that caused it. People just I could say the God of Abraham and that religion. That's what they did. Just kind of like a historical category of them. So Reg says, I heard it had a really bad smell. Yes. Yeah. It smelled really bad. That is true. The smell of the cave was like thousands of rotting, corpses at once. Yeah. We called our mate Father Abraham, and he had kids to three sisters. Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. That is a fascinating parallel there. And Zumi says the fake alien thing is distraction. Why? Because the reptilians will enter humans' homes instead, delete us all. That's their plan. Okay, thank you. And I think that's a very concerning situation, and people need to be prepared for that. And I also want to say that I'm not denying anything else that's happening in the world with, say, Epstein and the files and stuff like that. I just think that the aliens are interconnected with the aliens too. Like they're spiritual entities that these elites appease to. For instance, like Earth, was talking about Greek mythology, and I do believe that these alien things have to do with Greek mythology because those gods and goddesses were those aliens that we see today also. And also what occurred is that they the disclosure about the aliens would certainly be a thing to not be distracted from either, because I do believe that they don't want people to know about aliens because it causes a psychological issues of people. Yes, that is true, Adine. That is true. And the thing with the interdimensional hypothesis, which I do believe in is also true, is that the aliens are coming to us from another dimension, through another realm. So, Einstein Rosen theory is that there's a wormhole that opens and these beings come through it, and that's where we are. They come where we are now. So yeah, that is also intertwined with the angel theory, which angels and demons both. Like I believe that for instance, prophet in the Bible, the Elijah was taken by chariots of fire into the heavens. That's a UFO, and that is the thing about interdimensional beings. The way they look, the way their bodies are. Same thing with Bigfoot. A lot of these things like appear and disappear like magic. So they're entering through some other doorway. That there's all these different universes and these different realms that exist, that like a chain network. They did discover these things that exist beyond our realm, and these other types of reptilians and these fallen entities are channeling us and channeling things through these existences. So like you could have the aliens, you know, that are going through these different spaces and going through here, but maybe they look different where they came from, but here they look like the way they look. And so that is the theory of shapeshifting also. All right. Oh, you know when Scotty beams you up, where do you go? Well, you go into Scotty's party that he's having, where he all the people go, the beaming party. Oh, you got 2 out of 3 right. Nice. Nice. I personally think that's cool. Although 3 out of 3, I know you want to get 3 out of 3, but that is pretty cool that you got 2 right, in my opinion. Sheesh, you would think AI would be able to unlock some of these archaeological mysteries to man. And well, I think AI, if it's used properly, can figure out these things. If it's used for that, sure. And I do believe that a lot of times, Reg, is that there's cover ups, in my opinion. And hey, if, as I said, allegedly, right? Alleged, if it's true, the reason why it's being hidden is because they are trying to hide it. They don't want people to know about it. But there's a point where people just they can't hide it anymore. And people just know about it, like the headless horseman analogy that I've been using. There's a headless horseman, and people say it's not true. And there's a point when the headless horseman is like at the church about to delete everybody. So when that happens, there's a point where they can't hide it anymore. Oh yes, Sumi, absolutely. And Adine says the interdimensional being when they materialize in our dimension are very vulnerable. Yes, correct. They often have lots of not airplane. They also have a lot of UFO crashes. And I got one. The first one I got wrong. I kept getting blue and windy, but it was wind turbine. Ah, okay. And what they look for our dimension are not their original look from their dimension. Exactly, Adine. Facts. Yeah, whatever they look like over there is something different than what they look like here. Because you have the eyes, nose, kind of like a earthling looking thing, kind of like going to a video game or the Sim simulation. And because our living and act with the souls, they abide by our laws. Right. Yes. And there's a Stargate in Iran, hence the war. Oh, okay, Mark. Okay. A Stargate. I got you. Yeah, there's also in Iraq, there was the Gilgamesh's body there in Iraq. So Gilgamesh was allegedly preserved, and he's like 18 feet or something really big in this sarcophagus, and he's in like a sleep state, and he's allegedly the Antichrist. So the Clintons went in there and wanted to take his body to allegedly use him for something like the Antichrist stuff, and he possesses some sort of a power. So that's allegedly what the war in Iraq was, and maybe there's a portal in Iran or Iran, as it's called. That's possible too. Another thing about Iran is something fascinating. There's something called the Bermuda Triangle in Iran. So there's a desert in Iran that is extremely wild. Okay, so you would have sand dunes, and you would hear, the deserts at night have these crackling rocks and these dunes that move around. So people heard ghostly sounds there. They thought it was haunted for hundreds of years or thousands of years. So anybody that went into there left. They never made it back out. So allegedly, there's an oasis somewhere in the desert in Ring Ajin, and that's what it's called. And the desert has this oasis where the jinn guard a treasure there. So the jinn are genies, like Aladdin or those Disney movies. That's what a jinn is. So that is something interesting, but apparently they didn't find anything when they went into the desert. But if it is real, the supernatural beings are hiding the oasis. So that was something, a fun fact for chat about some sort of paranormal thing in Iran. So anyway, the Zumi says they tried to make Enel and Eve the Sumerian text. Apparently, when he is not, he's still alive today. Right, exactly. And Earthy said, if you want answers, look at history and things happening around the world today. Think why during this time history repeats itself. You know, Yeah, even the communists even said that history repeating itself is a farce. You know, it definitely something that happens over and over again. And Earth, he says, but then again, all history is made up and manipulated. It's victors, so believe what you want. It's fake anyway. Ah, Reg, very excellent questions. Excellent questions. So, Reg, I believe that planet X is real, Nibiru. I believe it is real. Uh, that is the first thing I got into regarding conspiracy theories. So, my buddy that got me into this alien stuff, although I was always interested in aliens, he got me into the alien activism. So what the happened in this theory was that there's this planet that's far beyond Neptune. There's something called objects beyond Neptune, and there is this object called Planet 10 that's this red planet, and it has an eccentric orbit, and it's way beyond our solar system, but it's somehow connected with our solar system, and it either got knocked out one time by our planet or the sun or something during the creation of the earth or a big bang, however it happened. So that is this explanation. So this this planet this planet that occur I am home actually. The planet that exists, people said for years it wasn't true, and Joe and I were morons and stuff, but basically it actually seems like NASA is saying there's a ninth planet. Now the ninth planet is technically the 10th planet, but they don't want people to know it's the 10th planet. So it's kind of funny how they do these things. So anyway, the Nibiru is in the Kuiper belt and it's very difficult to see. All right, it's all these things out there. It's hard to see, but judging by the way the astronomers were looking at these other planets following a trajectory orbit of another big object out there, they assumed that it is real. And there was articles that came out that they discovered a giant planet beyond Neptune. And it's a brown dwarf. So I always believed in Nibiru being real since I was in third and fourth grade, but now science and NASA is confirming it's real. So yes, that was one of the first things I believed in. Now there's other things about Planet 10 Nibiru that I think is quite the Anunnaki live there, or some reptilian alien race, and that they wanted to come to Earth to harvest gold for their atmosphere. Weed lives matter. Yes, the weeds in the garden, their lives matter. And you know what? For those that I don't smoke, but those that do smoke, the weed lives matter too. For those that smoke. And the thing with the alien lives matter as well. All right. Earthy says, imagine if aliens are the type of subhumans from another galaxy that already got space travel in tune, and the galaxy is billions of years old, and we are not alone. That's what I think is true also. I mean, I think we're not alone. Even when Obama was in doing that interview, when him and Trump did the alien exposing thing, he was saying that there's so many billions of galaxies and stars out there that there's something out there. So that is what I definitely think, is that basically there are aliens out there with all the galaxies. It's one of them figured out how to get here with a spaceship. I'm sure there's other ones like us out there. So that is what I think. And I remember seeing on the History Channel about the Roswell crash, and I thought it was like spooky. I'm like, whoa, this stuff's kind of made me a little nervous, but it was still a fascinating thing. And I would get these little alien stickers that glow in the dark. And then I met my bro, and we did our conversations about extraterrestrials, and here we are. All right, Zumi says the Great Flood happened way before Noah existed. That's your opinion. That is fine, but we can agree that there's a Great Flood that happened. Maybe there was multiple floods that happened. It happened though. Something that did cause the flood to happen. I believe it was God of Abraham. I believe it was Noah that was involved at least in one of the floods. If there were multiple floods, I believe Noah was involved in the flood. But people might believe different things, and that's okay. But all I'm saying is that we both agree there's a flood that happened that was huge. All right. And, people all see cultures all over the world. Even if we don't agree all on who it was or who was there or what they were called or when it happened, whatever it was, we agree that something happened at some point, and there may be transcripts that could predate Noah. Yeah, absolutely. But definitely it is something happened at some point. So it proves that it's basically evidence and proof that it happened. Because people are like, oh, well, religion is just so stupid. It doesn't happen. But, hey, all these cultures, even if we all disagree on who did what, although we disagree on that, we all agree a flood happened. So how are all these different cultures around the world saying the same thing? Like someone might believe in Pandora's box. Someone might believe in the natives, what they believe and how the earth got corrupted. We all can disagree. Some of us believe it was a forbidden fruit, but something happened. Some UFOs are living beings. Yes. Yes. Right. And Reg says, did they find or take pictures of another side of the moon? Don't mean to make you feel tired from my questions. Reg, you could ask as many questions as you want. I'm fine, but thank you for your concern. And so what happened with so the allegedly, which I have doubts about the moon thing that happened. I don't know how accurate it really is because some of these people were actors. There's an actress that one of the people that went to the moon recently was an actress. So I don't know what really is or what really isn't. But allegedly, if the moon thing did occur, what happened was they took pictures of the other side of the moon, that the dark side of the moon. So that's allegedly what happened. There are these other pictures that were taken that look like they were taken already from a long time ago, but they're kind of manipulated a little different. There's also no evidence of a flag being planted on the moon either. So, anyway, they took pictures of the dark side of the moon that were not seen before. Carlos says, Vatican is holding lots of info. The Library of Alexandria burning didn't help. Yeah. Thank you, Earthy. Thank you, mods and chat, everybody. So, see, what I think, in my opinion, is that the Library of Alexandria collapsing is something that was horrid, and there's so much information that we lost to time. All right. And I'm sure that the dots would have connected even more if we had known what was in that library. But yes, I do believe that the Vatican has lots of information on UFOs and various things that have happened that they don't tell us. That we certainly need to go through the vaults and see what information is being concealed. And I like the moon buggy when it does a burnout, looks like a VW. Right. All right. And the birds are getting ready to chirp. That's pretty cool. Shouts to the birds. Yeah, and so a more in-depth analysis about the interdimensional thing is that like there's Earth, there's something on top of it where you have this cluster of stars and all kinds of things that are there. Not stars, but dimensions like spider webs. And when you have this thing happen, you these beings exist within the web, and they go and absorb the energy from humans in a negative way, the negative energies. And over time, they go and influence ideas and faiths and stuff like that in a negative way to cause more suffering to the earth, right? So that is what those things do. All right, Zumi says they destroyed the Alexander Library because it had truth on ETs and way more. That's why they got burned down. I agree, Zumi. You know, it would have definitely helped people understand these missing links better and the concept of other dimensions. Zumi said they just wait. I read that. Okay, fourth dimension is all around us. Oh yeah, the fourth dimension is all around us. That is 100% facts. And hey, what is your take on Bigfoot? And could it be kind of like a spring from giants? Ah, excellent question. I think that is an excellent question. So I'll explain what Bigfoot is. Now, Bigfoot was talked about before the a long time ago, before America was a country. So the natives here believed in something like a Bigfoot. That's the word Sasquatch originates from their type of ideas, right? It originates from their language. So the interdimensional beings, Sasquatch is. I'll give you the breakdown of what it could be. So Sasquatch could be a humanoid creature that is a species we're not completely familiar with and was very good at hiding itself and concealing. So we weren't able to discover it, but there will be sometimes it comes out or people catch it because it's going to happen at some point. Another theory is that Bigfoot is, as I said, it's this other dimensional being that exists. So the theory of interdimensional Bigfoot is that it's a creature that is from another dimension and it comes over to our side, and that's why it's able to disappear so easily. It could just be here and then vanish and without a trace. So that's why they think it's from another dimension and it comes over here. Now, another theory is that it could be a descendant or Cain himself, a descendant of Cain, or some sort of tribe that was cursed or, you know, a certain way to not be with us and to have long hair and to be kind of secluded from everybody, but they're still among us. The other thing is that they could be remnants of the Nephilim giants that existed, and it's some sort of hybrid creature between maybe the apes, the humans, and the Nephilim at the same time. So that all those could be possibilities, but definitely to wrap up with a bow on top, the people that were here for hundreds of years, thousands of years before we were, and for those that are in the United States, that is what existed. It allegedly, existed for a long time before we were here. It wasn't something that somebody made up last night, and many people have seen it before. So yeah, it's either some sort of species of human or ape, or it's some sort of other dimensional being, or some remnant of it. All possible. All right. Okay, Zumi, thank you for your take. And Earthy says, I wonder what stunted our brain growth, why we only use a very small percentage. What are we being gatekept for? Unlock your mind. It's your God given right. Amen. I agree that it's our right to completely know what is going on and to completely use the brain to its full potential. And I think the fall of mankind that happened, however people think it happened, is the reason why we don't have access usually on by default to whatever the other parts of the brain are. But we should do our God-given right to, the one that says they can and can't are both correct. So I think it's good for our God-given right to go out and do this thing and access all of our brain. Zumi says Sasquatch is what we would become if we were not Homo sapien. Sapiens as today, this means that they left original on this earth, evolve into that which changes DNA. The Sasquatch is us. Okay, Zumi, thank you for the information. Very cool. Now, there is another thing that people have talked about. One night I was in a chat room, and it was a Christian music stream. And what happened was there's lots of Satanists, there's people that were Christians, and there were people that were these other things, the free thinkers and philosophers and people that were like agnostic and or people that believed in everything. So we all had debates and good conversation with each other. So what happened was we oh yeah, facts, Daniel. And the what happened was in these situations, this trolls in there were messing with people here and there, and at some point, I just was like watching it, and they were like wanting to square up with the different people in the chat, and then two trolls are fighting each other. There's like a bunch of clowns. All right, it was funny. It was real funny, and the one dude got like his Harvard philosophical moment with me, one of the trolls, which he seemed like he was a goofball, but he actually was like really brilliant. And he came with this. It was like the morning was about to happen. It was like the sun was about to come up, and bro was like telling me a whole breakdown about the mysterious helper, right? And the the mysterious helper in the woods that people meet of times of complete peril. Like if you're in the middle of the woods and somebody helps you, that is the situation that the person experienced. Yo, you almost graduated Harvard. Nice. And bro was like, as I said, bro was like I think the mysterious helper, although one Brenda was saying one time, the mysterious helper is God or the Holy Spirit. I believe that absolutely. Now it's possible another theory is that the mysterious helper is the Sasquatch. And it could be an angel or some kind of positive being that help people in need. And or it could be one of them. Maybe there could be multiple answers to the questions. So that event that occurred is the natives believe that the Sasquatch was a helper, that he helped people in trouble. He was wise too. So that's why the Sasquatch could be that mysterious helper. Although I do believe that God is the one that helps people, of course, but I'm saying it's possible that that could be it. Another thing that bro told me was there is something called a skunk ape. It's this very smelly, rotten egg ape that lives in Florida, and it's a cryptid that lives in the swamps and bogs, and it's like a gorilla thing that is called a skunk ape, and it's so that is allegedly a Bigfoot creature that lives in that region. So bro just opened up to me about this out of nowhere, and I was like, my mouth dropped. I'm like, bro, I did not see this coming. Like, whoa. This dude was being a goofball, a clown, like a total clown troll. Then he's like, this Oxford gentleman. All of a sudden, wild. Anyway, so how many vaxes do babies have to have? Imagine the ingredients. Space Ghost. I am looking for leprechauns, but I'm more looking for the pot of gold that he has. It's somewhere in there, I think. But I'm going to look over here just for now. And chat. You see something, you let me know, and we'll split it. Okay. And I like the Batman picture. Yeah. Yeah, Mark, the skull and bones. Scared. And yeah, Mark, I'm sure there's all kinds of ingredients in those vaxes that people don't necessarily need in their bodies. Now, some vaccines could be good, hypothetically, but there's vaxes that are not necessary that have all kinds of chemicals in them that could be causing problems. Like some people think that the vaxes cause all kinds of chemical issues in the body, it could cause autism and stuff like that, allegedly. That's a theory. The monolith from 2001 was the phone. Destruction of man itself by man. In a way, we are our own worst enemy. They cause food allergies. I'll fight to the death on it. I agree, Space. Makes sense to me. I'm sure it causes all kinds of allergies. For instance, on this stream, we see chemtrails in the sky sometimes in these streams, right? And there are chemtrails that happen. And with the chemtrails, it is what they could be dumping on. Like, there's a whistleblower. I was reading a Harvard article one time, and they were saying that that it could be true with the chemtrails, but to remember that there wasn't a lot of whistleblowers at the time, so it may prove that there may have not necessarily have been a situation like that, right? Where they have the chemtrails. So what I was seeing was something quite fascinating. Is that Smokey was sending? Smokey is the spaceship secretary. She was sending me something about the a whistleblower that happened. Right. The the whistleblower was from the military, and that they're dumping a bunch of chemicals inside the chemtrail, you know, vaults, right? There's these things that the chemtrails, they have those things in there that are they're not allegedly chemicals that are not good, that they're dumping all over us, causing allergies, causing weather to be weird, and it just we don't know what is in that, and we don't want that dumped on us. So that is something else that is causing issues. All right, and Space says, nope, the inject of food ingredients via substance designed to produce immune response. Congrats, you just taught your body that eggs are hostile. Oh, thank you, Space. I think that makes sense. Thank you. And I believe that jabs cause a lot of health issues. Yeah, definitely, Miller. It seems to be the case, in my opinion, that definitely has a correlation. All right. And Mark says, imagine walking the plank and hours later. Let's see. Um, Imagine walking the plank and hours later, you're still standing on it, and the crew must have had a good laugh. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Arg. Reg says, those giant lizards look similar to Draconian species. What do you think? Yes, I agree. So now I want to make clear that I do think that it's possible that there's aliens disguised as alien. There's aliens that are really demons disguising themselves as aliens, but they're really not aliens. Just I want to throw it out there before I get into this. So okay, there is, yeah, exactly, Green Plank. There is this concept chat of the Draconian aliens. And the Draconian aliens are this species that exists that allegedly exists in a Draconian constellation. So these are lizard aliens that live on the planet and they come here. And they come from that star system. So yes, I do agree with you that they do look like the Draconians. And that's probably where they're coming from. But there's this other theory that they could be also angels or fallen angels that are corrupted also. But even if they're not from there, they're still not really that great either. Whatever, if they're from another planet, star system, or if they're from our uh, other realms that we have, I think that they're very untrustworthy. Hello, Selena. Welcome to the stream. And yeah, so that is definitely something that had occurred. Yeah, so the Draconians are there, and there's so many different archaeological discoveries of people that believed in different gods and things from different civilizations, and they were reptilian-looking entities. So, and they had them on the dollar bill, the back of the dollar bill, and allegedly they mixed with humans somehow, so they have descendants too. So that is the theory of the the extraterrestrials that are from the Draconian constellations. So I believe the giant lizards are the Draconians, if they are from another planet. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let's go this way. Draconian society. Yep. All right. Today, Draconian refers to rules or laws which are excessively harsh and severe. Term traced back to Athenian lawmaker Draco and created the written constitution. Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I see. The thing about that is a lot of those ancient religions, those ancient people were influenced by the aliens or lizards of various species, right? So there's different species of aliens, especially the Draconians, and that is why they did that. So these laws and stuff probably came from the the Draconian aliens themselves. So and they influenced that philosopher that had the name Draco because he's connected with those aliens to write it down. So and their gods and stuff they had were those interdimensional beings. I definitely think there's a link. Mark says I'm part of the elites. I'm helping build part of the King's Kingdom, New Zealand. Well, I am. My dad's from London, and so I'm technically part of it too, in a way. And also, Zumi says when Koof 19 was on, they said Draco Law. You see? You see? The Draco's Law. Yeah, you see, because they're all interconnected. Though the Koof 19 vax had to do with part of their scheme, a part of their plan. And that is why they wanted people to believe in those things and get that as part of the depopulation. And Draco's law, yeah, has to do with the draconic aliens, the lizards, and that was their scheme, just as Gates wanted to cause depopulation to happen. So that is another in it too. So all of these things are interconnected, and I don't believe in any coincidences. All right. And Miller says, I believe certain leaderships are Draco reptilians. I definitely, and different bloodlines of people. So the Draconian aliens, back from Egypt, right? Back in the past, these leaders were descendants of the gods. And the gods that existed are from these other realms. And a lot of them were reptilians. Yep. We could get British passport then, Mark. Yep, that's true. And my opinion. And yeah, the thing is about the royalty, some royalty, maybe all the royalties, and different presidents and stuff have these bloodlines that are connected to these ancient people that were connected with these reptilians. And there's also theories that they're shapeshifters themselves, that they're somehow reptilians in human form that shapeshift. That's some people might think that's far out, but that's one of the theories. So there you go. I definitely makes sense, Miller, especially with all this stuff that's going on, the way they act. And are that's definitely a thing that very well may be. And let's see. Zumi says the nanotechnology is in the vaxes, even the chemtrail spray. Yep. All of this stuff is connected, and all their way of trying to cause a depopulation and control of the people of Earth and a spiritual demoralization that tap into other parts of our brains that we have. Right. And okay, so the types of things and what they want to do is microplastics is another thing. There's so many things in microplastics that I think are very appalling. Thank you, Green Daisy. Exactly. Oh, okay. Um, I think Coast to Coast AM is a very good radio show. I have not really heard much of it. Oh no, I want to rephrase that. I have heard of it, and I think it's a good show that has lots of good information. I have not seen it recently, but I've watched it before. I've listened to it before. And let's see. Yeah, Daisy, they want to take people's souls away so they can't get into heaven. And they can't change anything, so they try to go and take the souls to the hellfire. Like the devil's this roaring lion that lurks for the ruin of souls. And let's see, go to British and you're in India or Pakistan, same. Right. And there you go. Yeah. Right here, chat is a pumpkin plant right here. Yes, correct. They live off soul collecting. That's true. Yeah, so this right here is plant, a pumpkin plant that is sprouting. Oh, okay. I reg. I'll check it out. Thank you. Thank you. How many times do you think we can split a hair? I think with enough skill and technical advances, we could keep doing it as much as we want to. Yeah, it's yeah, that's what it is. It's what we would call morning dew, but it's frost. Yes, same thing. It's frosty and it's morning dew too. Okay, absurd. What's your question? All right, Daisy said we have many lives. A judge will give a criminal 100 years for knowing he won't live that long, but in the next life you're trapped. Oh yeah, the next life, if you get something wrong, you get something wrong in the next life, uh, you're there for all eternity. It's something terrible. It's like there's people that had near death experiences, okay, and they'll be in these like cubes, and they're getting like I don't know. One dude was there, it was being torn up by these entities, and then he just comes back in one piece. And it happens all over and over again. Like imagine this giant snake like eating you alive, and then it happens all over again and again and again and again, forever. Yes, my third eye is opened. Yes, absurd. And Reg said, "Are you going to be professor at a university? You have what it takes." Oh, thank you, Reg. I appreciate that very much. And I could be one if I wanted to. And if I feel at some point to go down that path, I will. For now, I feel that with YouTube and doing these videos, I like the audiences that I'm reaching, and I'm still learning. So that is what I'm doing at the moment. But yeah, it definitely would be a very cool idea. Thank you. And right here, we have morning time coming through. You see, there's this thing I want to see. Like you look at the sky, right? And it's not like dark anymore. It's getting brighter. And there's birds tweeting. It's very fascinating. All right, dude, I've had spiritual psychosis for like 4 months. Dude, it's been a crazy. I'm freaking the F out all the time. It sucks. Too much has happened. Yeah, yeah, I hear you. And definitely could be like a roller coaster you didn't really expect to be on. And you got to remember that trust that somehow the dots will connect at some point. and it all makes sense. And everything that you're going through right now will lead you to everything that you need to become. And it's the view. It's not exactly what happens to us, but the view that we take of it. And so focus on what you can control, and as you go along the roller coaster ride, and think of it, this way: that you're at a roller coaster at an amusement park or a water slide thing, and it's just getting really intense, but you are in the moment of the arc of your life story. Mark said the chicken or the egg always gets me. Arr. Yeah. The chicken and the egg. Well, I think that is one of the world's biggest mysteries. We could all agree on. And the thing about the world's mysteries is that, if the chicken came first, then there couldn't be an egg. Oh, you're welcome, Absurd. My pleasure. It's definitely my pleasure. Never lose faith. I've been through some crazy stuff recently, and here I am streaming on YouTube with everybody, and it all makes sense now. And Mark said so if the chicken came first, then the egg came later, but then how did the chicken get there in the first place? Another problem is that if the chicken came first, who laid the egg? Right? So did the chicken come from another species of bird? Was it created like that by something? What exactly was it? It's certainly a mystery. Indeed. Absurd, you even look good in the broken mirror. Like when things don't make sense and all, you seem pretty cool people. It's, you got to remember that you look good in the broken mirror too. Okay, and the moon isn't really out yet, and the moon's not going to really be the way it is. Yeah, facts, Absurd. Facts. I'm in. We'll be keeping you my thoughts and prayers, Absurd. I appreciate your questions. Sometimes death can be the greatest invention of life because it clears out the old and brings in something new. Right. And out here, you see the birds tweeting and the sky turning into a nice indigo color. Very interestingly. Mark says the night photo of Earth at night from NASA. I can see lights at my uncle's house. Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. And yeah, dude, it's like when you see things from a bird's eye view like that, from what you're talking about, Mark, that is really cool. Absurd said, "You're one of the better ones on the journey that I've met. I'm always down to get in contact and discuss further on these subjects." Oh yeah, absolutely, Absurd. I look forward to it. I'm glad that you found us. And a gem can't be polished without friction. And there are many ways to the top of the mountain. Everything that was woven in your destiny was necessary for what you needed. And another thing is that, you know, why a man should fear death, because it'll come when it will come, and anything else that would apply to that is that it will happen when it will happen. And the, remember, ease with all the hardships that will come, more ease will come. So that is something with all how many hardships amounts, the ease will happen. And there are, even if something of the atom's weight, something like a little atom or something of a mustard seed, it'll be seen and accounted for. So yeah, uh, hopefully that is some good advice for you. And Reg said there's a turkey leg restaurant that says they sell an average of 1,000 legs a week. Where are all these legs coming from? That's just one restaurant. Well, that's a good question. It certainly, there's lots of eggs. Lots of eggs I think would be involved. Yeah, and even looking at the birds of the air, that they don't worry about anything. They just go along their day. And we need to do what we can to be more like them. Yeah, and see, the sky looks like a painting. It looks like it's certainly like a painting. And as I said, there's no moon, but we're showing you that it transitioned from night to day. Oh, welcome to the spaceship crew. Oh, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. And Mark says, my house on Google Maps, my daughter is in the door and having a cigarette. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. Yeah, seeing things from the different maps like that is really amazing. And I mean, definitely a surreal experience to have. It's such a small world indeed. Yes, Reg. Yes, yes. Reg, if you know anything about it, I feel free to enlighten me. Now, I know about turkey farms because I was taught farming by a wise um, mentor. Because I know about farming. Not maybe every single thing about farming, but I learned quite a bit about farming. I know about turkey farming. Yeah, it's a little bit different than the chickens. Yeah, you could get hatch a bunch of chickens. I mean, a bunch of turkeys and have them, and by a certain time they'll be ready to go be shipped out. Yeah. Tone said, y'all, so the recent Archimedes photos of Earth from Apollo, they didn't even try to change it. It's the same exact cloud formation. We all bit of the biggest giveaway. Yeah, they think we're stupid, Tone. They, they think we're stupid. And okay, so maybe not real turkey. Oh, yes, Reg. I've heard about the food not being real and that it was generated. Right. There's some food that might be completely fake out there. And if it's because I know if it's not artificial, I wonder what else it would be if it's not artificial turkey. Google Maps been around since the '60s. And Mark, that's a good question because there's something about Google Maps where Google Earth specifically, where you could go into a time machine and they'll show your place from back in the '60s and '70s and other eras. And I don't know if they're taking documentation from other air bird's eye view, or if they're just doing it, that way, some other kind of way. I don't know. So yeah, maybe it has been around since then. It seems. I don't know what the answer would be, but it definitely seems odd. Yeah. Hey, what you think happened on Mars, a whole empty planet? Oh, Reg, brilliant question. Again, and what? Okay, this is what happened with Mars. So allegedly with Mars, okay, one night my friend Passion and I. Oh, hello, Lindsay. Hey, what's happening? You talking about a specific topic? Right now, we're talking about conspiracy theories, and right now, I'm about to talk about Mars. So there is this theory that, let's see. Nope, no way. So there is this theory about Mars, and the thing about Mars is that a long time ago, well, about Passion's in over in Australia. Her and I like watched trials together, and she was telling we were doing this um, research out of curiosity about Mars, what it'd be like to go there. So Mars, the way we would be able to jumpstart the planet, the Mars is dead. The way we would bring Mars back is if we got materials from an asteroid and made a giant like cooking batter thing. They use the cook batter and go put it in the center in the core of Mars and heat it up and spin the lava inside of it to bring Mars back to being a planet again. Like with a sun, with atmosphere, with clouds, with rain, with grass. It would have grass. It would have oceans, but the planet's like turned off right now. You might go, alien. Why is it turned off? Reason why the planet is turned off is we do not really know. There's a theory that a long time ago, billions of years ago, it seems like there was a civilization that existed on Mars, and they got wiped out by a nuclear war, and then they all came here to start over, or they brought Adam and Eve or whatever to start over. However, it happened. So that is the alleged thing that occurred, that they nuked themselves out of existence. There's evidence of pyramids and life because it's kind of like similar to Earth, being there at one time. So there's a dude that was doing remote viewing that was part of Project MK Ultra, and this dude for remote reviewing from the CIA said that he saw people on Mars that existed a long time ago, and it was a decaying civilization. So you know what that means, chat? That means that he saw a vision from the past. So that's the hypothesis that Mars was civilized by people at one time. Exactly, Maya. Exactly, Shannon. Very well said. We were from Mars and got here. Like, there is a Twilight Zone episode that, for those that are interested in that Twilight Zone, where this dude is exploring this new planet, and the dude was sending him a transmission that hopefully in their new planet they would never know anything like hate, and they could start over in a new land. You know what happened? They realized they're on Earth. So the theory is they're on Mars originally, and they came over here at some point, billions of years ago. and it looks like we're about to, destroy each other again. So hopefully that it doesn't happen. I know, Shannon. It's like we didn't learn the lesson from before because all the wars and conflicts going on. Thinking of getting my own satellite, how much do you think can I get to do time payments? Um, you can get a satellite depending on what you want to use it for. Is it going to be for telecommunication? And it's going to be for other things like that. So, Shannon, I am in the garden right now looking at the sun uh, about to come up at some point. That's what I'm doing. And having a good, evening. I mean, a good morning, rather. Yeah, we brought them all here. All conspiracy theories are welcomed here, Truth. They're all welcomed here. And Tone said, I knew it. I've always said, was Mars when people asked where I'm from. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're allegedly from Mars. Let's see anything else. Yeah, and I mean, people have a right to think about whatever theories they think is true. What if Earth what if Earth is a whole as a whole is some alien kid's science project? Oh yeah. Like there's a theory similar to the concept of those other things. For instance, in the concept about Earth, what if we are part of an experiment by some alien kid and we are just in a matrix right now, being lab rats, being observed? That is would be hilarious. I think another possibility is like there is this other Twilight Zone episode of this kid playing with these little humans, and yeah, it was just that one's interesting. Another one was the toys, kind of like some of the Toy Story. These toys were alive in this box in this crate, and they wondered where they were exactly and what was going on, but they're actually just Christmas toys. So what if that's us? What if we're just part of some matrix of some kind and we're seeing what happens here? Well, true. If people want to stay, maybe that is. But, the truth hurts sometimes. And there might be things in this world that people may not really be completely ready to accept. And Mark says, did we bring any other animals from Mars apart from Satan? Well, it seems like on Mars, everything was brought from there to here. Or at least most things. With Mars, there's apparently some sort of a creature there that resembles a crab. So maybe we brought crabs from Mars from here too. All right, Shannon says, as above, so below, we have ants. We are ants to another species. Exactly, Shannon. That's a very good point. And there are people out there that, yeah, there are people out there, thank you, Tone, who don't understand. Like, we think we're the big dogs in the universe, but there are other things out there that are bigger than us. in chat, look, there's a chemtrail right there, chat. A chemtrail, and that is very true because, like the aliens looking at us, or some other type of species, technology that the Air Force doesn't even know how to use, or what kind of technology we have. So I think that is very true that these extraterrestrials, we are the ants compared to them. And just like, the dude wanted to be a god and he crashed somewhere and there's these little people, but then there's a giant and he was picked up by them. There's always a bigger fish out there somewhere. Very well said. All right. So yeah, that's very definitely a true concept. Indeed. Right. Some more clouds rolling in. It's pretty cool. Scared. I just the transition from night to day is so fascinating. Okay. And there's also these things coming from other dimensions allegedly, right? So yes, Zoomy, it's morning. We went through all the way into night into morning. Yeah, I hope that we are. Okay. Lindsay said, "Yeah, I just hope we are that important. What if we? What if we're an old project that somebody forgot about, and then when they find us, they just toss us out?" Well, if that happened, I would say that it could, because things like that do occur. I would think that if they were advanced enough to put us here, they had some sort of plan to complete the project. And if we are an abandoned thing, if we are going to be in an abandoned project, we can't control that. But what we can control is our reaction to it. Be the best project that could have ever been. And they would come back and see a human race that is united together and advancing. That would be something good to see. But look at all the wars and stuff that are happening, though. I would be wanting to discard the Earth too. And they, if they forgot about us, certainly we have to never forget to believe in ourselves. And hopefully they would be cool and continue to help us. But I do believe that all the effort they put into putting us together were most likely the apple of their eye. And they completely, you know, have some sort of a plan. But if we were forgotten, we have to believe in ourselves. But I don't think we're alone. I think we are being watched over by something positive. But I do believe, Lindsay, that there are dark forces that want us completely tossed away, though. There are those things too. And Sawgirl says, "Such pretty sunrise. Are you going to get rain? Is that why there's clouds?" I don't really. There's some bad weather going on in other parts of the country right now. That's what's happening. And my I am going to get rain today in about an hour. About an hour from now, I'm going to get rain. So yes. Oh, good morning, boss. Welcome to the stream, buddy. And Mark said, we're only animals that wear clothes. That makes me think that we're from somewhere warmer, Africa, maybe Mars. Well, the temperatures there. Oh, both are very hot planet. Africa is a very warm, hot place, and Mars is very warm too. It's very hot, as well. Tone said, if someone were to travel from Earth to Saturn and back, the amount of time passed would be over a decade, 12 to 14 years. Yeah. And if we went to the Orion's belt, it would take many decades or centuries. So pyramids are a couple of things. They could have been spiritual hubs. They could have been landing pads. Some people think. The other thing about the orbs, not the pyramids, they could have been a power source, like a power plant. The pyramids could have been a gate to another dimension, and they very well could have been a way to signal different things from the sky. Also, but the mainstream narrative is that the pyramids were from used as a tomb for the kings. All right, and let's do it like this. Okay, so let's see. Bipedal walking wolves makes better hosts for celestial possession because they are strong. Humans are frail and weak. And okay, and yes, Lindsay, I am a couple of states over from where you are. Say about 3 states over or so. And also, Tone says, but just think about the time process when you come back to Earth and you'll suddenly be younger than someone you're once older than. Yes, it's basically the concept of interstellar, the interstellar concept. And Zumi says, the originally was for ecological purposes. When TV was invented, the same as the internet, but then got taken over by cause confusion. Yes, the humans corrupted it. Right. All right, chat. I am back for a second, but I am back here. Okay. So the I've heard that pyramids may have been used to store grain. I don't know if I've heard about them being used to store grain, but that is a very interesting hypothesis right there. I think that makes sense to me. Oh, there are chemtrails in the sky. Quite a few of them. It's a nice way to start the day out. It could glitch again. Let's see. Let's see. Look at that. Chemtrails again. Timu Shin chemtrails. Yep. All right. Yeah, I definitely believe that the human beings can be more susceptible to those types of possessions and then a lot of other things. Indeed. Okay, and these are some of the clouds. Nice pink color for the morning. Nice sunrise. It's a very different garden at night. I mean, during the day. Azumi says the original was, yeah, yeah. As humans corrupt everything they see. You know, that's a lot of times the humans do. So, I remember seeing the chemtrails years ago when I was just a kid. Ah, yeah, yeah. They're very mysterious, indeed. And they're very strange. I do think that there's something nefarious about them. You see right there. Boss says, Lindsay, I grew up in Orlando, went to Colonial High School. That's cool. That's cool, boss. Zooey says Bill Gates stole Windows and made his own. He works for Evil Shade, and I suggest everyone to make up their own PC operating system without Microsoft Google. Yeah, yeah, that's an option. Or get a Mac. Good morning, Brian and Lori. Oh, thank you, thank you. Glad it's becoming your early morning show. Facts. It's a chemtrail. Scared. And we hear the roosters crowing. Also, morning, everybody on the spaceship. Scared. Yeah, thanks, thanks. Yeah, absolutely. We have the garden right here. Hello, Knight. I I don't yeah, I don't know if he specifically is the Antichrist. We'll see, but I think the prophecy of the Antichrist is a little bit different than that. But we'll see. But the Antichrist prophecy, um, it's supposed to be is quite a different. So if he was casting fire from the sky and claiming to be God or something, maybe he'd be the Antichrist. They used to think Obama was the Antichrist too. I don't know about all that, but the Antichrist will come at some point, though. How do you tell it's just a vapor from a plane like that to tell us? Mark, that is a very excellent point to make because, when a plane is that high up in the air, it will cause the it would cause the materials to freeze in the sky, right? But that's still not good either because whatever it is sticking in the atmosphere. But the thing is that there's so many of these um, things happening at one time, and a lot of times they cross each other in zigzags. It's more than just planes in a sky. It looks coordinated. Like if you look at it, why are these things in the sky like that, just coordinated like that? So the theory is they're dumping something in there on us, but maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just something else. It's just kind of odd. More questions than answers. Exactly, underboss. It didn't do that in the 90s. Facts. Lori said, "Say hello to our boss, Claude from Alien." I will. I will. Yeah, Claude definitely keeps us in check. Yeah. Hello, Jojo. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. So, yeah, these are the trails up in the sky. Scared. That's some of the clouds. Those are some of the dark clouds right there. Those are some birds. Scared. So, I definitely think it's something that should be investigated. Yeah, good morning, Jojo. They didn't spread wide like that, but I remember they did have a cloud trails behind them in the 90s. Oh, okay. Okay. I think they advanced their technology more over time. Yeah. Mr. Gates wants to drop mosquitoes from the plane, if not already. Yeah, he wants to drop all the mosquitoes on us. That's true. I agree. Other parts of the garden in the morning. Scared. Yeah, so that is, there are whistleblowers that have talked about what they did. That they said that they were putting chemicals inside those things. And when that happened, it was completely messed up. Because dumping a bunch of things on us that isn't good. Let's see, Mark. The trails are for. allegedly, okay, the trails are allegedly for putting chemicals on us that could cause allergies, that could be doing things to hurt us, make us sick, do things with the weather, stuff like that. Or you saw a video of a plane doing it. Joe says the Florida Keys Mosquito Control District and biotech company released millions of genetically modified male Aedes Egyptian mosquitoes which do not bite or spread disease. I didn't know that. Very fascinating. Yeah, scared. Say hair riding trails. Oh yeah, I know what those are. It's like in the sky, you'll have like an airplane write something in the sky. That's always funny. All right, Jimmy says, I got a question. Where do the Aztecs go and Egyptians and others just disappear on the face of the earth? Hey, that's a good question. Allegedly, like their civilizations, the Aztecs got wiped out by disease. Apparently, like when the Europeans came through, they had like chicken pox and stuff or a common cold, and it completely wiped them out. Completely wiped them out. Okay, and the Egyptians. Okay, Zumi. Oh, maybe their civilizations could have been wiped out by, you think maybe aliens or war? What theories have you heard about what happened? I'm curious. Yeah, that is a lot. Yeah, so, in the Egyptians, their empire collapsed at some point and they dispersed and they got divided. So, that's another one right there. I mean, another theory about them. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe their civilizations got wiped out by something else or they disappeared. Not completely sure. Chemicals don't, no sun, no life. Chemicals don't affect me. It does humans. My body heals differently. That's why my eyes turn white in the sun. Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, that is possible. Because they were left as a complete ghost town. And in this theory, in this theory, they were wiped out by the Greys and they were harvested by the reptilians for their blood and their body. Yes, I definitely make sense. It could be. They did appease those gods and they kept on trying to sacrifice their people so they wouldn't, the sun would come up in the morning. So maybe at some point they wiped them out. That's a possibility. Tone said Aztecs were wiped out by smallpox, lack of food, and sufficient military. Okay, thanks. The Egyptians, I'm not exactly sure how the Egyptians got wiped out, though. I have to look that up. Hello, Zombie Queen. Welcome to stream. This is the Garden Live, and we do it at night into the morning. And yeah, and those are some other plants that I have planted. And good morning to you. I am doing good, Zombie fam. I am. I had a pretty cool night talking about conspiracy theories and different things about aliens and stuff. And we saw bubbles a little bit earlier. And yeah, so these are some plants that were grown by ancient people for like herbal reasons. So I put them back here. And right here is some needle plants. Okay, and going this way. There's Bubbles right there. He's hanging out in the garden. Got these other plants chilling. But you like it? Okay, and that is the sun right here. Well, not the sun, but it's like chemtrails. The sun is shining on. All right. Okay, and these are some of the elephant ear plants or taro. It's also called taro, which I think is really cool. Really cool. Yeah. And these are some vegetables growing that'll come up at some point soon. Do I know who Trump was in the post that he done? Yeah. He was. Yeah, he had a post about him wearing like a white tunic with a red thing, and I saw about that. Like him as like a healer. Yeah, I saw that one a couple of days ago. It seems to be going viral in the media. And yeah, right here is some broccoli. Listen to my cat Chechera get deleted by the Wolfman. The Wolfman. Yeah, yeah. I remember that. Those the wolves are really messed up. Indeed. Yeah, some people think that he was trying to be Jesus, and but he claimed that he was being a doctor of some kind, or like those medieval, not I mean the like Greek mythology. The Greeks used to wear things like that, but a lot of people believe it's like a Jesus reference, and a lot of people are upset about it. I don't know of anything of him claiming to be Jesus, though. He claims he's a doctor, but people can interpret how they want to interpret the situation. And yeah, so these are some of the plants. And something cool about this is that and this is a spinach plant that is like at the point of flowering. It was a winter plant, as I had a winter harvest, and some of the plants are left. Like this one just makes seeds right there. Scared, boss. Scared. Okay, so at this point in time, the the sky is like a white haze. I don't know if it's frozen. Chat, is it frozen? Maybe reload. He's dressed as the magician from the tarot pack. Okay, and let's see. Uh, Mark says he's dressed like the magician from tarot pack, and guide him Western national governments. Right. Okay. Yeah, and he's saying, well, there is a woman in the photo of him praying, saying the man was healing. Looks like awfully Epstein. Ah, okay. Interesting. Interesting. All right, chat. Do y'all see me? I mean, is the stream frozen or not? Out of curiosity, I could go and fix it again. Okay, no response. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go try to cause it to come back on then. Okay. Okay, Zoom. Okay, everybody, I'm back. So hopefully it works now. Okay, thank you, boss. So I went and fixed it again, so it won't buffer. Okay. Okay. Thank you, boss, and thank you, Zoomy. So I just, for as a safety precaution, I went and fixed it. Yes, I've seen the red one, Mark. All right. So, oh, nice, nice, boss. Scared. Silver clouds. Okay, it's gonna get dark for a second, but you'll see me in a moment. Hello, everybody. All right. Yeah, scared. All right, here I am. I am back. Nice to see everybody. Yeah, you see, I did the face reveal. Yeah. Okay, and Mark says symbolism on the dollar bill is far out. Reminds me of you still want that bridge. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. And no, it's finally. It seemed frozen a bit ago to me, but chat said it wasn't. Oh, okay, okay, I see. Okay, let's go this way. Our boss says, or for everyone not allowed to have. Well, he said, "I'm okay." So let's go here. The how what happened to Egyptian civilization? Let's see. Egyptian civilization didn't disappear overnight. Yeah, scared, Mark. It the boss doesn't even have a dollar. Yeah. The Egyptian civilization didn't disappear overnight. Rather, it underwent a long, gradual transformation through centuries of internal decline and foreign conquest. While the ancient Egyptian period is traditionally said to end with Roman conquest of 30 BCE, the culture and people evolved into modern nation in Egypt. Path of decline. The civilization reached its peak during the New Kingdom, 1550 to 1070 BCE, under pharaohs like Ramses II, but several factors led to its eventual loss of independence. The political instability, the internal power struggle, and the assassination of Ramses III in 1115 BCE weakened the central government, leading to a split between the north and the south. Environmental challenges. Periods of severe droughts and erratic flooding, like the Nile, caused massive famine, social unrest, making the state vulnerable. Economic strain. Maintaining a massive military to fend off invaders like sea peoples drained resources and created significant wealth gaps. Following the New Kingdom, Egypt was ruled by a succession of foreign powers. The Libyans, the Nibians took control during the Third Intermediate Period, 1069, 153 BCE. The Assyrians and Persians, conquest of Egypt multiple times starting in 7th century BCE. The Greeks and Ptolemaic dynasty. Alexander the Great took Egypt in 332, and his generals descendants of Ptolemaeus nearly 300 years, ending with Cleopatra the Seventh. Mark says, "You obviously know me." Oh, Underboss. Sister got it all, vultures. Hilarious. Yeah, so that is what happened to Egyptians. Just a lot of civil wars and hostilities with each other causes the downfall. All right. So that's some interesting things that happened with the Egyptians, and let's see about Cryptid. We'll look at this part. Well, it looks like I have to hook this thing up back to this. Oh, wasn't hooked up to it in the first place. That was a close one. Could have lost all connectivity. Let's go back here. There we go. There we go. Hey, in the will of money was mine, and they charged them to suit themselves. Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. All right, now we're going to go to cryptids. Oh, hey, Bub. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Behind me, the sun's rising up. Right there. Oh, okay. Okay. Where I am, it's 6:56 a.m. The Shah or Set animal is the most famous cryptid of ancient Egypt, associated with the god Set. It was depicted over 2,000 years with a slender canine body, squared ears, and a long, downturned snout, and a stiff forked tail. We are chilling, and we are talking about some cryptids from ancient Egypt right now, and whatever chat is talking about too. Scholars from the Cryptid Wiki and other historic researchers have proposed it could be an extinct species of wild dog. The oh yeah, okay, that's where J Cole is from. Okay, nice. Other historical researchers have proposed it could be an extinct species of wild dog. The the Sul-Yukai variation, the Okaipi, or even a distorted representation of the R. Devark or giraffe. Oh, you're welcome, Sawgirl. Facts. All right. Was on a trip to Mars and back and closed eyes a minute and 3 hours later and could have sworn I was just listening to you guys. Yeah, you're very. It is our pleasure, definitely. And yeah, just the time can definitely fly by on the spaceship, and it is nice being here. And yeah, we're already sun's already up in the house. Is all alive and well. The Salawa, a modern Egyptian sightings of mysterious canine predator called the Salawa, are often linked back to legends of the Shah. Interesting. Moss says, yeah, the only way that humans come is behind back, like cowards. They seraph an ability to fold humans to alone need to use hands. This is divine ability. Interesting. Yeah, Egypt is very fascinating. Oh yeah, Mark, absolutely. So the Sir Pabard. Yeah, that is true, Bug. The Sir Pabard is a creature with a body of a leopard lioness and a possibility long snake-like neck. The artistic presence. It appears as a pre-Dionystic artifacts like Narmer palate, often with neck entwined another serpapard identity, while others viewed it as a symbol of chaos. Some researchers suggest that it might represent an extinct animal or a misidentification. Long neck creatures from Africa savanna. Yeah, the poppy seed tea. Right. While others viewed it as a symbol of chaos, some researchers suggest it might represent an extinct animal or misidentified knack creature from African savanna. This allegedly existed. Scared. It's allegedly, if it was real, it was an extinct species that existed. Other biological myths. Several other creatures from Egyptian lore are occasionally debated as having roots in actual animal sightings. The Bennu bird, often depicted as a giant heron or stork, is inspiration for the Greek phoenix. Some speculate it was based on extinct giant heron species that once lived in the Nile Delta. I get my information from the internet, from different articles about Egypt. Okay, so the Bennu bird, often depicted as giant heron stork, inspired for the Greek phoenix. Some speculate it was based on extinct giant heron species that once lived in the Nile Delta. And Boss said he ate them by handfuls. All right. The Apip, the giant serpent of chaos, was said to be 50 feet long, while mythologically it shares similarities with massive prehistoric snakes like the Titan Oba. Yeah, boss. That also works too. I think that a lot of things from the old encyclopedias are good for people to know. Mark said, "If I find the sunken treasure and show Gormint, will I get to keep it? Finders, keepers, losers, sweepers." Oh no, no, they're gonna want to take it. Gore is gonna want to take it from you specifically. Yeah, but he don't trust the books really. They hold outdated information when trying to grow shrooms. Oh, okay, I didn't know. Oh, okay, Sawgirl. Okay, and She said, "I used to be a gore scared." Yeah. Yes, you better not show them the government better not show them because yeah, they're gonna take the whole thing, and they're also gonna tax you too on it. Yeah, because if people find a treasure, they go and seize it. Oh, okay. Arg. Yeah. Okay, and there's something called the El Nadaha, the siren of the Nile. This was more of a modern legend. Describes a beautiful woman calls men to their deaths by riverbank, similar to cryptids found in other water-based folklores. So those are some cryptids from Egypt. Okay, let's go to this one right here. Okay, let's go to this one right here. All right, so these are some cryptids in different parts of England, by the way. The Bargahest, a terrifying, monstrous black dog with massive eyes and sharp claws. It is well known death of Yorkshire and northern England, in the northeast. Thing it's said to be mean and intimidate death. The Guy Trash, another spectacle dog that hunts lonely roads and Yorkshire moors. While usually malevolent, some tales say it can lead to travels to safety. The Grit Dog, the Emeraldal, mysterious predator from the Cumberland, modern day. Hey, I am back. I went out, but I'm back. There's also something called the Brown Z, reported like the Windermere sightings of this English Nessie. They back to 1850s, described as a fast-moving, multi-humped aquatic beast. The Lambton worm, especially in Yorkshire and Lancashire. These mischievous and sometimes violent spirits inhabit the old house marshes and port houses. And pot houses. Okay, it's actually potholes, not any of the two other ones that it said. And they are known for souring milk and making dogs go lame. Redcaps, vicious thickest globes, goblins found in the ruins of castles along the English-Scottish border. They said to soak their hats in blood of travelers. The redcaps. That is very scared. Wizzy. A strange, elusive creature, Windermere, described as having a body of hedgehog, dragonfly wings, bee antennas, and squirrel's tails. Alien big cat. Frequent sightings, beasts described large panther-like felines roaming the Fells countryside. So we have those two. Yeah, so those are some cryptids from Egypt and also some from England too. Yeah. I do think there are things that are made up that are not true, but there's also things that are true that they're, trying to conceal information on. Yeah, so I really think that the cryptids, sometimes it seems like it's fantasy, but it seems like other times the cryptids are actually real or they existed at one time. And if they could be part of it, besides them being experiments and stuff, maybe they're a part of some sort of species that got extinct. That's another possibility about them. Okay, let's go here. Okay. Oh yeah, Tone. I've heard of the Thunderbird before. It's in the indigenous Native American culture, and they talk about the Thunderbird being, and it's like a spiritual thing from one of their other dimensions. Okay, let's see. The Thunderbird is a powerful supernatural being in the history of culture of many indigenous people in North America, particularly across the Pacific Northwest, Great Plains, and Great Lakes region. It is widely recognized as a spirit that controls the skies and weather. In the traditional lore, the Thunderbird is a massive eagle like bird that embodies the power weather control. It is said to create thunder by flapping its massive wings and lightning by flashing its eyes or shooting it from its beak. Oh, I'm sure it does remind you of some of your mates. Yeah, yeah. Sloths are certainly know how to relax. Tone, it would be ethereal. It would be ethereal to hear that and to see that. Definitely. Cosmic conflict. In many traditions, such as those of Algonquin and Sioux, the Thunderbird is a ruler of the upper world and is locked in a perpetual war against malevolent spirits and the underworld, often described as good horned, a great horned spirit, a serpent, and or panthers. Shapeshifting. Some legends, like those in Shawnee, describe the Thunderbird as being capable of taking a human form, sometimes appearing as a boy, who can be identified because they speak backwards. Before mythology, a Thunderbird is subject to cryptozoology. Some researchers and enthusiasts believe the sightings of a giant birds may be linked to real unidentified or prehistoric animals. citing reports of monstrous birds date back to over a century, including a famous 1890 story of cowboys in Arizona shooting a featherless alligator head creature with massive wingspan. Lawndale incident, one in 1977. One of the most famous modern reports occurred in Illinois. Young bull was allegedly picked up and carried a short distance by a giant bird. Scientific theories. Skeptics and historians include Adrian Mayer suggests that these legends may have been inspired by natives and indigenous discoveries of petrosaurus fossils or encourages them with now extinct giant birds like the teratorns. Oh yeah, Thunderbird car effects. Tone said, I believe in a Thunderbird to be real. At one point in history, it might still be there, just in hiding. Yeah, absolutely. When I was little, my neighbors caught a barracuda, some family friends, and they made it into a trophy, and that thing was pretty big. Barracuda is a large predatory sea water fish known for its fearsome appearance, torpedo shaped body, razor sharp teeth, while often subject to sea of legends, monster stories. They are real world apex predators found in tropical and subtropical oceans globally. Hello, Buggy. By design, they have streamlined, muscular body built for sudden bursts of speed. Barracudas can swim up to 35 to 36 miles per hour in short spirits and ambush prey. Sprints and ambush prey. Teeth. They possess two rows of teeth. Some point backward to ensure slippery prey cannot escape when seized. The toxicity. The greatest danger to humans is actually eating a barracuda. Large barracudas contain ciguatera toxins known in their flesh through bioaccumulation. This can cause severe gastrointestinal neurological symptoms in humans, such as the reversal of hot and cold sensations. So eating it is poisonous. Hilarious, Mark. Attacks on humans. Confirmed attacks are extremely rare. About 25 have been reported since century. Most incidents, cases, mistaken identity, are proven by separate fisher communities making the same certain. Tiger of the sea. The common nickname reflects the aggressive hunting style and dominant position of the reef ecosystem. Yeah, so definitely barracuda is one of my favorite types of fish. Very cool. Yeah, you cannot eat barracuda. No, no. So that is some information about the barracuda, and that it could be hunted, it could be caught, but you can't eat it. Is the point? I'm glad you. I'm glad you never cooked them up either. You're able to be here in one piece. Yeah, swordfish. Let's see. All right, that is a swordfish. See why dog is man's best friend. You can give them a, a horse. Yeah. A dog eat everything. Yes, yes. I've heard that too. Why a dog is man's best friend. Give them a horse and a third house. Well, you need to also the cat needs a permanent spa treatment, a spa a conscription for life, a subscription for life. Someone said, "I hear that nose can stab through many other sea creatures, even humans scared. But yeah, I love cats too. Definitely, that's what I have around here is cats. Scared. Yeah, Tyler, scared. Yeah, so you have to check but respect them. Yeah. And yeah, that is the thing. They they also have this thing where, respect them, indeed. So, right, and anyway, so yeah, good point. And Mark said, yeah, horses easy to feed and it takes you to pub and back. Yeah. Yeah, definitely horses in a way are man's best friend. Yeah. Yeah. Horses helped allies in the old west. Yeah. They are very smart companions, the horses. Yeah. The Arabian horse is one of my favorites. Yeah, rats too. Rats too. We have some rats in the tree in the yard, and they're tree rats. Okay, let's go this way. Oh, there we go. Yeah, and also the natives had their own types of horses that were all kinds of different colorings and markings on them. So I think it's very cool. Yeah, there's a horse from Spain that's very sturdy that goes and pulls carriages and stuff, but they don't really have those. They're kind of in depopulation, which I think is cringe. Oh, Mark, that's hilarious. That's hilarious, right? Right. All I know is that the rat was the lowest thing that you could be in my neighborhood. Oh, okay, okay, yeah. I'm sure that's true. Yeah, the rats can be cringe. Scared. Timu Sheen rats. All right, and yeah, that's why I don't rat on Sunny when. Anyway, so see, Mark said, "Have you seen the robot dogs police use?" Scared. All right, scared. Yeah, I've seen the robot dogs that police use. All right. Anyway, so yeah, the thing with the even in LA and these different parts of Cali and stuff like that, they will have these different systems out there for people to you have like a dash thing, whatever it's called, and it sends people food on a little robot cart. Right, it's a little robot with wheels, and he goes to different places and does DoorDash. So now they have the Robo Dogs. I saw some video yesterday of a person, no, a robot chasing away some hogs. Love you too, Bug. Yeah. Chat also agrees. Right. Yeah, definitely the RoboCop will. Yeah, so I think it's pretty cool how they had that concept, and they need to, because the robots can make a mistake. AI and all that stuff can make a mistake. I don't know about all that, Bug. They they may be conditioning they may be conditioning us into something, but I don't know if they're conditioning us into that specifically. Yeah. But certainly they want us to do something like that. Unpopular opinion. Right? I think AI and robots are cool, but they could be used for things on the dark side of things. I'm scared. Yeah, it makes you scared. Indeed. Yeah, but I think people can vape. It's okay if they vape, but it. I don't smoke or anything, but if people vape, I think it's all right. But I see, people might think that the vaping has too much chemicals in it. It might be harmful. So, or the AI and the robots might be conditioning us for some diabolical scheme. Who knows? Yeah, and water is essential for life. Actually, right. So that's what I think about that type of stuff. You know, it it definitely depends on these different factors of the AI's algorithms evolving and advancing, and it can do all kinds of things that probably far better than what we could do. Also, right? Mark said, "I just got a new a drop when I broke it. Oh, okay, Mark. Well, I guess it's an unexpected thing to occur. Okay, yeah. So yeah, those are some cryptids, and that is some additional commentary with the AI. As I said, AI robots are good advancements. They're probably going to take a lot of jobs, and they could evolve to do some things that may not be too nice. But giving them too much power would not be too good, I think. Yeah, Mark. Scared. Scared. Hmm. Right. Yeah. So at this point in time, the the stream's been ending for now, and we'll be live later on at some point. Thank you all for coming. It's been a pretty good stream. Arg, Mark. We had some good conversations about cryptids and stuff like that. So thank you all for being here. Appreciate every single one of you. Really nice. And peace. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, yeah, that's true, Mark. That's true. Absolutely. You're welcome, Bug. It's nice having you here with us.